hope, good morning or good evening, depending on when you are watching this video tarot reading. First of all, thank you so much not only for your patience, but for ordering a reading in this crazy time we're living in, because with both of my main jobs shut down, this is my main source of income, so it is much appreciated. I do like to start my readings off with a couple of disclaimers. The first one being, while my cards have been known to predict things, I'm not personally a psychic. I'm an intuitive reader. My cards are meant to be more of guide tools. And the second is, if you see my eyes drifting off to the side, I'm not looking at a pre-planned script or anything like that. It's just me referencing my client book, so I give the right reading to the right person. And then when I'm finished with your reading, I take a sticker and place it over your name to keep organized. I don't foresee myself really needing to reference your information much, because there's no points in time I need to reference or other people that I need to keep in mind, because you have just requested a general 10-card reading. So I probably won't be drifting off much, but let's dive right in and see what the cards have to say. This 10-card reading will pretty much sum up the rest of your 2020 just about. So it'll give you a good wrap up of what you can expect going forward with the rest of the year. I don't know if you heard that, but that was my cat snorting just now. Alright, so let's dive right on in. Just a forewarning, because my cat is hanging out with me, he may jump up at points and you might hear him clawing at things, but if you get nervous, if you hear something, it's probably the cat. So we start with the 3 of Pentacles and the 10 of Wands, and these kind of go together, which is why I'm showing them both at once, because obviously right now, very clearly, money is probably tight, and everything kind of feels like a struggle, because, we have to social distance, people are losing their jobs. You may potentially be in a situation where you've lost your job temporarily, or money might just be tight for people around you. You may feel like everything is piling up, from the media to the illness to the fact that everybody's getting on edge and agitated that you can't do anything. Like, it's going to be a very stressful time for a little bit longer, but it will come to an end soon. 6 of Swords, it's a symbolism of travel, necessary travel to get to an important destination, whether metaphorically a destination of enlightenment of some sort or an actual destination. The number 6. I've been saying this for a while. I think that April will be an awkward in-between for everything going on, where we'll start to kind of see the news telling us some hopeful things like, hey, we might be getting through this. May will be when we start to see people like, okay, we're going to slowly but surely open certain businesses and open certain things. And I think 6, June, by June, we'll really start to feel like, okay, we're kind of back in good. It's like, yeah, we may not have concerts and parades and like very big events, but, we'll be able to go to the beach if we want to. We can go outside. We can go to the park. We can go to the mall. We can go shopping. We can see a movie. Like, things will kind of start to pick up again for you. So this is a part of your life currently that you're in that's a bit irritating, but it's taking you on a journey to where you need to be, which is letting everything blow over and eventually getting back in goods with how life is meant to be lived, in a sense. You then have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is an indicator of not only will your finances after that point naturally improve, because people will start to be able to go back to work, and the people around you, and that may not even be direct to you. It could just mean if you know people around you that like you're feeling bummed because you're like, damn, like all my friends are losing their jobs, I feel so bad. They will get their jobs back, because swords also, we're simultaneously talking about people going back to work, going back to the things they're passionate about, and making money doing so. So that will happen. We then have the Page of Cups. Cups are associated with water signs, and the Page of Cups in particular is a very spiritual card, a very psychic card. It's about enlightenment and things like this. So I think this makes sense, because I've been saying it for a while, that everything going on right now, as unfortunate as it is part of a massive spiritual awakening. So you will be taking part in that. And don't misunderstand it as spiritual awakening means, if you're not a religious person, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to find God, or you're going to suddenly buy a bunch of crystals and meditate. It could just be as simple as you'll just meet with your higher self and have a better understanding of things and be more open to possibilities. But if you are religious, whether it's more, pagan religions or something more organized, you'll be more in tune with it when all is said and done. But also, going on with the whole Renaissance thing that I'm talking about, and a spiritual awakening, it just also means we will start flourishing after all is said and done with everything going on now, where people will take more appreciation for the arts. People will become more creative. Don't be surprised if you suddenly have really random creative urges. Like a week ago, I just kind of was sitting on my couch, I played the clarinet for 2 years in 4th grade. I should play the clarinet again. And then I started researching, where can I get a clarinet and how expensive are they? And don't deny those weird creative things you suddenly feel impulsive needs to do. It's part of this, you use this time, it's supposed to be to kind of embrace your more creative side. So then when all is said and done, we have the 10 of Swords here. While it does look gruesome because this little creature is completely stabbed basically to death, this is actually kind of a positive card, because this usually translates to, don't worry, because you have faced the worst of it, so things cannot get any worse. You've already gotten to the point where the situation got as bad as it could, and it will not get worse, because it can't. So if you want to relate this to COVID and just your life path being disrupted in general, this is letting you know, when you start to see that improvement, potentially around June, we hope, that you don't have to worry about things getting worse. There's not going to be even if there's more cases that start to pop up of coronavirus by then, we may have very good ways to combat it, or we may find that it's weakening, because sometimes when a disease progresses, most people think it becomes harder to fight off, it becomes tougher, it becomes worse, but sometimes, and this is just going based off of, because I spoke to one of my friends recently who's actually a doctor. He was like, sometimes, and this is what they're hoping will happen with corona, but they don't know, because you can't necessarily ever tell. But sometimes with diseases, when they progress, they get weaker, which is how we end up with common colds. And it's why they say you'll never get the same cold twice. It's because a lot of common colds are strains of viruses that were once really bad, and then they kind of weaken to the point where it's a common cold type situation. So people are hoping that's what could happen here. I'm not saying it will. My point is that you don't have to worry about anything disrupting you going forward once we get to that point that things are improving. It will not get worse. I also know that because you have the Wheel of Fortune as your next card, sometimes referred to as the good karma card, or sometimes referred to as the random stroke of luck card, at least if it's in an upright, which luckily you have it in an upright, because obviously in a reversal it would be the opposite, bad karma, bad luck. So this is letting you know that as long as you are continuing to be a good person, you ride out this spiritual awakening and this whole thing that's going on, and you just kind of try to stay humble, stay positive, and that doesn't mean shut out your negative emotions. It's okay to be scared, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be annoyed, but also try to find the silver lining when you're in those situations. Are you upset about something that's going on with the world? Try to look for a silver lining in it, to make yourself feel better. So don't reject your negative feelings. It's just saying, stay focused on the things that you could have when all is said and done. Start getting excited for the idea of what's coming, because when all is said and done, as long as you've been a good person throughout this journey, you have nothing but good luck and good karma coming your way. 2 of Pentacles, this also means you will probably find a more balanced and harmonious lifestyle when we start getting better with things and we get to that point where we see the cases dropping and life kind of returning to normal, you notice like he's kind of like, looks like he's exercising and lifting weights. So this is the whole idea of just taking a balanced stance in life, and you want to make sure that you're doing that. You do have the Eight of Wands. Usually in an upright position, it's about spontaneity, like just going for it and taking risks. You have it in a reversal. So this is saying if you have a tendency to be a little bit spontaneous, that's okay. But if you're that person that becomes spontaneous and then becomes a little too spontaneous, this is telling you going forward, you can be spontaneous, but make sure you're thinking before you act. So if there's something that you're like, I want a bungee jump, but realistically you're like, I think that would do more harm for me than good because I'm afraid of heights, then don't do it. But if you're sitting there going, I've never tried this food before and it seems crazy, but, you know, it might be fun to try food, and food's not harmful. Like, you know, those are kind of silly analogies, but the point is, it's just, you know, if you want to be spontaneous, think before you act. You don't want to do something spontaneous and then regret it type of situation. But your final outcome card is the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is a it's a suit of cards that is often associated with creativity and passion. So, you know, this to me is a big sign that when all is said and done with everything while this spiritual awakening is going on, I think your creative side will really begin to flourish. You will find that you have a lot of passion for either new things or maybe things that you once had a passion for that kind of died down. It'll kind of find its way back to you. And that might even help you in the long run with like career opportunities or just things going forward. So the long story short of your reading is that you still got to be in this little annoying, awkward, discomforting phase for a bit longer. It's part of your journey. Then potentially, hopefully around sometime in June, things will start to improve with finances, job situations, and that whole enlightenment thing going on. It won't get worse. As long as you're, you know, doing the right things, you'll have good luck and karma on your side. Make sure to stay balanced and keep that going forward. When it comes to spontaneity, make sure you think a little bit before you're spontaneous, because, you know, you can be spontaneous and still say, well, wait, let me think about this for a minute. And you should be good to go. You got awesome stuff coming your way. I do hope this reading has resonated with you. If it did not, feel free to let me know. I will not be offended. I'd always rather my clients be honest, and even tarot readers can have off days. But I do genuinely hope it has resonated with you, and I'm wishing you lots of luck during this crazy time we're living in. And just stay strong. Hold out a little bit longer. I can feel it. Things are going to get better soon. We're already starting to see improvements in the media based on what we're seeing. It's going to be okay.